You would think that after like, what, 348 different unmatched sets, that by this point, restoration would be slowing down or maybe at least leveling out in quality, right? Uh, nope. Welcome to Board Game Animal. My name is Justin. And today we're looking at the latest box in the prolific Unmatched series. This one being Battle of Legends Volume 3, as two of the other core sets of Unmatched were the Battle of Legends Volumes 1 and 2. And for anyone new to the series, it is not one where you have to play these sequentially. But let's get right to the meat of the issue. As with any Unmatched set, it's all about the characters, so let's take a few minutes to talk about each of them. Legendary pirate Blackbeard enters the fray. As the only ranged character in the set, with even his Sea Dog sidekicks being melee, his hook is really interesting where you have a little economic element on your actions. You will pay doubloons based on the damage you take or wanting to take extra actions, or gain doubloons when your opponent wants you to avoid doing something pretty spectacular. The back and forth economy can give you some major swings if you plan ahead properly, as Blackbeard has some stupendous combos when executed and budgeted properly. In a way, it actually kind of reminds me of the bit of resource management that we have with Tesla, although in this case, the resources are going back and forth between you and your enemies, which adds a really interesting dynamic to the mix. Ultimately, while maybe taking a little bit of getting used to, I think Blackbeard is absolutely terrific, and I can see climbing the ranks of my unmatched tiers very quickly. Chupacabra, in a way, is the most basic character in the set. Not a lot to wrap your head around ability wise, it's basically a way to farm cards, and maybe a good character for fans of aggro strategies. That simple ability plus 3 movement and a power boost once your health gets low, Chupacabra has great onboarding and ease of play potential, but while also having a lot of legs and staying power, that with some great cards and really brutal combo potential. I love the idea of a character that gets more dangerous the less health it has, which I think is a fantastic gimmick for a character that's otherwise so straightforward in a box where the rest of the characters have a lot more intricacies going on. Pandora delivers a really interesting push your luck mechanism into the gameplay. At the start of your turn, you open Pandora's box, and you can keep digging deeper until you choose to stop or you bust. If you push it without busting, you can get a nice, solid advantage on your turn. But if you bust, you take damage. It has a really clever decision space to each turn. It most significantly reminded me of the Ranger in Massive Darkness with their arrow mechanism of the push your luck cards where you keep going until you decide to stop or bust. And I think it's a really, really nice fit here in Unmatched. And similar to Blackbeard, for that matter, or even Shakespeare or the Three Sisters, and some others, I like how Unmatched is not afraid to give a character as their special ability essentially a little mini game or micro game that you're playing on the side, without taking a lot of time or overhead that distracts from the quick, punchy game that Unmatched is. So, all in all, that ability of hers digging into Pandora's box is really smooth implementation. Her cards in general are really, really interesting, and for me, Pandora is toe to toe with Blackbeard for being my favorite character in this set. Now, Loki's special
Trick
hook is.
taking. Trick taking.
No, it's.
Does he have tricks?
Well. Well, yeah.
And if I'm playing against you, what do I do when you play a trick?
Well, you take it. Anyway, Loki's special hook is trick taking. I mean trick giving. He has trick cards that, when played, get added to your opponent's hand. It bloats their hand in the sense that, while they can be played, there's usually a strong side effect that benefits Loki, and if you don't use it but instead discard the card somehow, it goes back into Loki's possession. So, bottom line, Loki is a very technical character to play with. And if you can plan ahead properly, Loki can be absolutely deadly. I think he'll be popular with folks who really like to diversify their strategies while playing the game, and for fans of characters who just play kind of
Tricky?
I mean, listen, you know what actually is tricky? Unmatched is a tricky thing in general for me to rate, because overall I give the system itself a 10 out of 10. Each individual set is more difficult to nail a number to, due to the fact that different characters speak to me more than others, but at the end of the day, looking at this one with blinders on, I still have to come down on Battle of Legends Volume 3 with a 9.5. I think that this is a delectable treat for fans of Unmatched already, who already love the system and want new characters with fresh ideas, fresh mechanisms. And while, yeah, maybe it's not necessarily the best set to start with if you've never given Unmatched a go, I think it may be a bold choice too. And if these characters appeal to you, I say go ahead and try it. Because in this set, I think you have some to work with that are good for new players and something to whet your appetite for the more complex characters in other sets. So, either way, don't miss this one because it is legendary. I want to give a huge thanks to our friends at Restoration for the review copy and for being a friend of Board Game Animal. Their support is always greatly appreciated. And for context, for some diverse opinions here, like I said, interestingly enough, Blackbeard and Pandora were my two favorites. Kelly's favorite character in the set is Loki, and my son personally liked playing as the Chupacabra the best. So clearly, this set has a little bit of something for everyone, no matter what your playstyle is. If you have any thoughts or questions, comments, please leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. And don't forget to play board games like an animal, um, specifically like the Chupacabra, which is obviously a cat. I don't, I don't think it actually is though.
No, do your research. It's a dog.
Actually, it's a reptile. No, look at that picture and you tell me that that's not a cat.
Which one of them do you agree with?
Why are we still filming? Like and subscribe, I guess.